shop looks like is you. What's up YouTube, this is Barber on top, and today I'm going to be showing you a day of life as an 18-year-old barber. I'm going to show you my haircuts, I'm going to show you my setup, I'm going to show you my barber shop. I'm going to show you just throughout my day on what I do on a daily basis. Alright, so I just got to the barber shop, and this is what the barber shop looks like. It's unique, it looks like a house, but it's a barber shop. This is the nice spot that I use to cut hair. You already know this is where I get people crispy. I start off with my day turning on my ring lights, turning on my lights, making sure I'm ready to get a haircut. So this is what my setup looks like. I got a spinny chair, I got mirrors, I got a wash bowl, I got a backyard. Ooh, got a spinning chair, make people crispy. Can't forget the TV. Before I start cutting hair, I like to clean my tools and clean my equipment. So you already know I'm about to get my guards and my combs and put in this barber saw. You gotta make sure all your stuff is clean for when you cut hair and make people crispy fades. Make sure you set a timer for when you put it in barbicide, because if you don't, your stuff is gonna break. Also, before I start cutting hair, I like to spray my clippers and my trimmers with some Cool Care. Just remember, make sure you are a clean barber, because if you give somebody something, they will not come back, and that is not good too. You gotta make sure your stuff are clean. Not only that, you just want to make sure your stuff is clean and make sure they're good to be used on anyone. You don't want to give nobody anything. This is my first appointment for the day. He wanted a big chop. He wanted to cut most off the top with the mid fade. You already know I had to get him crispy. You can tell by the smile on his face, he was ready for the crispy. So I started debulking the top. I'm pretty sure it was a 2-guard that I was debulking against the grain. When cutting hair against the grain, you got to make sure you go all over. You got to hit that crown multiple times. You got to go through and make sure it's all even. Alright, since I went through his hair multiple times, now we can start with that mid fade. That mid crispy fade. I first set my guideline with my clippers closed all the way, and I like to drop it down a little bit, give it that little texture. When doing my first ball line, I like to do it all the way in the back, and then I do it on the other side and meet together. Alright, same thing on the right side. I set my clippers closed and going straight to the back and meeting in the back so it can get that crispy texture. Before I followed up with the trimmers, I made sure that it was even on both sides, making sure it wasn't higher on one side or lower on the other. When following up with the trimmers, I like to keep a little distance between the clippers closed and with the trimmer, just to build that fade, that crispy fade. Then I went in with my clipper open all the way and making that first guideline. Make sure you flick out, use that flick out motion to get that most crispy fade. Flicking out that first guideline will smooth out the line so it won't be harder to take out. Alright, then I went in with that one open all the way, made another guideline. I already faded the one below that, so now I'm on the second one. Now I'm going with that half, taking out that line between the one and the open. Making sure I'm using that flick out motion, the corners, and when I close it, going lower in the guideline to make sure I don't make another line. Because you already know if you make another line, you got to take out that line. Right after that 1 guard, I went in and put on the 2 guard just to clean up the spots that I didn't cut. The only guideline I take out now is the between the 2 and that 1. You can tell by his smile he's ready for that crispy fade. I put on that 1.5 and started flicking out at that line. Now we're doing the lineup. Before I do the lineup, I ask every client how they do their lineup. You don't want to assume every client wants their lineup the same way. You got to ask them and see if they want it pushed back or lower. With this client, he wanted to push it back just a little bit just to cut off all those bangs and making sure he gets that crispy lineup. When doing the lineup, you always got to make sure you brush down and keep on going at that line, getting that crispy fade, that crispy lineup straight. I always start from the middle and then go to the left side. It's easier for me, making sure one line is straight, and then I go to the right side. Now we're doing the verticals. When doing the verticals, I like to see where the hair grows. I don't like pushing it back. Just to make sure that line is straight, I keep on brushing it down, making sure it's crispy. Now we're doing the right side. I start from the middle and then go to the right, making sure it's all straight and crispy. And again, make sure you keep on tapping at that line. Every hair counts. One hair sticks up, it's going to look crooked. Make sure every line is straight and crispy. And also take your time with the hairline. Your client knows when you're rushing. Same thing with the vertical bars. You don't want to push it back, but you want to make sure it's crispy and getting every hair that's sticking out. And that's how I got my client crispy. This was a $1,000 haircut. Make sure you follow Barber on top and make sure you get that crispy. I was able to record at the end of the barbershop, but today was a success. I got 2 haircuts for today. And think of it over quality over quantity. Both of the haircuts that I did, I like the haircuts. But that was my barber journey as an 18-year-old barber. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to follow me on my barber journey. If you guys have any recommendations on what type of videos I should make, whether it's tutorials, whether it's more about my supplies, about the barbershop, make sure to comment and let me know what type of content you guys like. I'm new to this, but this Barber on top. Peace out.